Okay.
It's been like like almost 30 minutes, Bryce. What the fuck have you been?
I was helping my parents.
We were genuinely considering to get like Charlotte on, but we kept like
why would you
jumping
do that?
around it.
Yeah, I feel like that would have been last resort option.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it basically was.
Mhm.
It really was.
We're just gonna cut this part out and send it specifically to Charlotte, just so they know.
Is it recording?
It's recording right now, so whenever you guys want to do the intro, you can go ahead.
There is no intro. We always just start it.
I'm
Cold
Teriyaki Asian. Today, welcome to Regenerate Talk episode 2 after a long hiatus and a episode that will never see the light of day. We are finally doing
Oh my
episode
god,
2.
that episode was so good.
Oh yeah, that episode it was good, but if it ever gets out, John, me and you and Marcus are getting canceled.
Just don't go into politics or any form of like media.
No.
A great episode, honestly, and the fact that it's not getting released to the public.
It was so random. What the fuck do you mean it was a good episode? We were literally just like there, like.
We should start a
Just, like,
Patreon where we
shit.
have like,
you know, it was
like
it was
pay for the
entertaining.
silver tier and you'll get our really bad rape talk episode.
We'll get the episode where we become Trump supporters in an alternate reality.
We have the misogyny tier, the rape tier, and then like racist tier. That's the level.
Racist
of
should be like
Patreon.
$100. Oh, racist should be like $100.
We say Derek Chauvin wasn't like that wrong, guys. Like he was a little bit justified. Just like if the money is good enough, we will say it.
I mean, like, my values can be bought.
My values?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, you only live once, and
exactly.
We live in a capitalist society, so I mean, money is the motive. I'm just saying.
Chase that bank.
Any other day, you guys would walk all over me. You don't think we're a werewolf? Go wild.
So what is this? So what is this episode going to be about?
Well, I have a bone to pick with Josh concerning a certain movie that came out. Directed by John Krasinski.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Talk about The Quiet Place 2. I haven't seen it yet.
Movie?
I haven't seen it, so.
Yeah.
So Josh, tell me your side. Why do you like this movie?
So, I don't go outside of the house. I'm actually
okay.
I've never left my house once in my life. Because there's a bunch of racist people. I live in the South, so like people see black and it's kind of like bull. Like what are the things like matadors? Like they see black and then they like come out of what are the things?
No, it's bulls. That's bulls.
Yeah, bulls.
They see
that's what I was trying to say. Well, thank you, Ty. Well, they see black people and they start lynching them and stuff. So it's really hard to leave the house. So I decided to leave because nobody's going to theaters anymore. So there's going to be no white people there. So I went to the theater, and there was like two people there, and they were pretty white though. They kind of looked like they wanted to kill me.
Okay.
Honestly. And I go and I see the movie, and I'm like, yo, this shit heat. It was scary at some points. It was really smart. It was really intelligent. There's a lot of good stuff in there. Like, we learned more about the world. It gave me a lot of Last of Us vibes with the characters. And honestly, I just think it was a very smart movie. I think it was a good sequel from the last one. But why did you not like it, is my question.
All right. So I guess I got to start with the first one, because I don't care for the first one that much either. Like, to me, the first and second one are about, like, on even level for me. I don't think they're bad. I just think they're mediocre. Like, the first one frustrates me because of how avoidable it is. They legit say in the movie when he brings his kid to the waterfall, "Hey, we can talk around here. We could even live here if we really wanted to. Fresh water source. Just set up a camp. We'd be more than fine." But no, we have to be retarded and live on a farm. Now, the thing to me with the first movie is that they could have had their cake and ate it too by just having them live by the waterfall, but since you can't like properly grow crops and stuff there, they still have to go to the farm to get their crops and food and stuff. And then those would be the tension fueled scenes. That's my gripe
Okay.
with the first movie, is that logically it could have been smarter. The second movie, similar situation. Except I feel like this movie was even more pointless. Like the first movie at least had like a theme of fatherhood, and I thought this movie was going to go for a theme of like motherhood since the mother was left. So I was like, okay, that would be the natural progression to go with the mother. No, we just get another father figure who's basically just John Krasinski, but like a little more crazier. Like that's it.
Okay. Is that all that you think about those movies?
Yeah, that's about it. I also thought in the first movie they made relatively smart decisions outside of the waterfall thing, but in this movie I feel like the little kid lost like 20 brain cells. Like the son. He was retarded.
Oh,
I don't
like
know what he was doing.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Well, starting with the first one, I keep hearing this argument that like they can build the place near the water because like the things or whatever they can't hear because they're sensitive. Their hearing so sensitive that they can't hear them. But the thing is, it makes it's a lot of noise to create something over water, which is my issue. Is because if they make something near that waterfall, it is going to make noise, and then they're going to have to come up with the issue of how to get the stuff over there, build something on the water, and like do all of the things that would encase that, which would probably be what the first film would be about. It would be about making that getting over there, which I think would be fine, but it doesn't. They're both bad options because, like it or not, bringing wood over there, cutting wood, all of that shit makes noise.
Well, I'm not even saying like cutting wood. Like they could just. The argument I'm making is that like they settle by the waterfall and they just kind of like set up like light tents and stuff like that. I know that's not like ideal,
like
but like
tents next to the water.
Yeah, like tents next to the water, and like that's where like they sleep and stuff. But instead, they're like sleeping in the farm itself, and like they have to be like super quiet and like basically go down to the basement just to talk or whatever. And like they still could have had that, but they still could have had like the farm scenes, because I understand like you're not going to be able to have like crops and everything by that waterfall. Like obviously it doesn't make any sense, but I'm just saying like logically, why not live by the waterfall so you can still have like some semblance of like safety? But then
I guess it's more comfortable if they live on like the farm.
It is more comfortable, but it is like you're also afraid like if you stub your toe and you're like, oh, like, then the things are just gonna storm. Like
you die.
Yeah.
Like she legit stepped on a nail, and like she could have died.
That was a great scene.
That it is a good scene because like it's in the moment, and like she steps on, it's like the bear trap scene in the second one was also really good.
I still feel like it's smart. I mean, like I understand that where it's like they could have lived by the waterfall, and there's probably some ways that they probably could have written around that.
Yeah, like if they
but
didn't,
even then, if all they do is like, because it's basically then it becomes the second part where it's just a fetch quest.
Yeah,
and I feel like that would be a lot less enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
So I feel like what they should have done is just take the waterfall out of the equation.
Because that's what I mean. It's like I would have never thought about it if they didn't show me it, and they showed me.
They should have just had rain at some point.
So exactly, because that's what they did in the second one, and that was a really smart and cool moment when like the rain was coming down and like the things like senses were just overloaded and couldn't hear. Like that was really cool. There are like some really good scenes in part 2, but I think the thing that like kills it for me is like the ending, because
oh yeah, it's really abrupt.
Yeah, like it it basically ends where the first movie left off. Like, I really didn't feel like I learned that much more outside of, like, they can't swim and that main guy's backstory, like, concerning his kid and his wife. And even then, we only got, like, hints to it, because, like, the kid finds his dead wife's body, and we never really go into it.
Ooh.
Kid finds his. Who are you talking about? You're talking about Emmett or Krasinski's character?
Emmett.
He finds his dead wife. Did they do that?
Yeah, the son of Emily Blunt's son in the movie finds, like, the dead body up in the. I'm assuming that's Emmett's wife, and, like, there's all those drawings and stuff.
Those drawings. I'm trying to think about that, but I don't think they could, because what Emmett said is, like, his wife died inside the house, because if she was inside the bunker, she would have lived, because then they wouldn't be able to.
Like, the kid climbed out of the bunker. He goes up into he climbed out of the bunker. He goes up into, like, a higher level for I don't know what reason, and this is why I think the kid is just retarded. Like, I think he, like, heard a noise or something, and he's like, "Oh, let me go investigate." And it's like, why? Just stay in the bunker. You'll be fine. And he goes up there, and then he sees the wife's dead body, and then he freaks out and, like, knocks some shit over because he's a retard. And then he, like, runs back down to the thing with his hobbled leg, and then he locks himself in the heating thing with the baby, and they almost die because he's an idiot.
Yeah. But I feel like there are some discrepancies that I have, but I still feel like it's a pretty good movie. I don't remember.
On, like, a technical level, I
don't really remember that scene. But I just, like, I feel like it's better than most horror movies, because, like, I saw the Conjuring trailer, and I just was disappointed, because all of the Conjuring movies suck on a horror level, I think.
I haven't watched
died a long time ago.
I
haven't watched the second one.
I'm talking about the third one that just came out.
They turned it into, like, a goddamn, like, cinematic universe, and it was
it's
like,
literally
okay,
just True Detective, but, like, horror.
Dude, I hate Patrick Wilson as an actor, I've realized recently. All he does is just look confused. If you look at it, the whole movie's like, what? Like, he has this weird eyebrow thing he does, where, like, he, like, slightly, like, he folds his eyebrows into the middle of his forehead, and, like, he just, like, he's like, what? Like, he does like this little squint too, and he does it every movie. The only movie where he emotes, like, outside of confusion, is Aquaman. That's the only time I've seen that man, like, alive.
Aquaman.
You know what? I didn't like Aquaman.
I'm gonna look at this.
I hate Aquaman too. I'm glad we're in agreement there.
I hope they bring back, like, Friday the 13th. I could use.
I'm surprised it hasn't, like, come back already.
Or like Nightmare on Elm Street. None of those have, like, made. Like,
well, they already
Nightmare. Didn't on Elm Street. Try to reboot Friday the 13th one time?
Yeah, they did it.
And then no one watched it?
Yeah, I was going to say, they did it with Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street around the same time. I think Nightmare on Elm Street was, like, 2010. They tried to reboot it with, like, James Earl Haley, I think was the actor. Which is a great choice, but they, like, did the makeup all wrong, and he looked like a goober. Like,
they made him, like, a pedophile, too, which is, like
a pedophile, man.
Yeah.
That's straight activity.
Yeah, but yeah, I want to see, like, a movie, because, like, we saw, like, the new Chucky reboot was, like, pretty.
Was that good?
I thought it was okay.
I feel like it was flopped.
They got more
Yeah, that's the thing to me is, like, I feel like the reason why those horror franchises are, like, so enduring is because they were new at the time, and now it's like they're legit just, like, trying to, like, adrenaline shot life into the franchise. Like, Halloween, I can kind of understand why they did that, and, like, it's honestly not, like, a bad angle to take, where it's like, okay, forget those old movies, we're doing it again, but better. Like, I can't blame them there. But, like, with something like Nightmare on Elm Street, like, just do it. Like, you don't need to, like, reboot it. Like, just do it, and, like, you don't need to, like, have a new timeline or anything like that. Like, Friday the 13th.
We've gotten to the point of, like, content saturation. Because, like, you know, there used to be, like, a mainstream type thing, and there still kind of is to an extent. but like not in the same way that it used to be. It's more of like everything kind of exists in its own like little vacuum, and some things are a little bit more popular and some things are a little bit more niche, but like there's no mainstream culture to kind of fight against. So like when it comes down to like reboots, they know that they're going to make money or they're going to work, and if they don't, then it's usually because it's like an ass franchise that only worked one time that you can't really do it again.
Or like they just like with the Ghostbusters thing, like everybody was like, you're clearly just doing it just because like, oh, you're trying to get that quote unquote female audience, like, which is why that I don't even know if that movie like failed completely.
No,
like,
but it definitely wasn't like
but like nobody really cared. And I don't even know if really anybody cares about the new Ghostbusters. Like, I haven't heard anybody talk about that new Ghostbusters movie outside of that first.
Yeah, I feel like it's coming out soon, but nobody cares about it.
Yeah.
I honestly don't even like the first Ghostbusters that much. Like, I don't understand the.
I've never seen Ghostbusters.
It's fun.
You've never seen
appeal to me.
Ghostbusters?
It just doesn't appeal to me.
It's kind of boring, honestly. It's not that good.
Like effects-wise, like it's really impressive for what they were able to do, and like I think there's like some funny moments, but like overall, like it's not a movie I would be like, oh yeah, I really want to watch Ghostbusters today. Like no, I would never say that.
I feel like it's a movie that white people watch with their family, which I don't have, so I can't really relate to that.
I remember I was in like middle school and I said to my friends, I was like, I don't even really like Ghostbusters that much. And I was at like the prime age to like Ghostbusters. Like I was in middle school, I was probably like 12 or 13. So like that should have blew my mind, but I was just sitting there like I'm bored. Like, and then I even rewatched it. I even went to the drive-ins and saw it, and I was still like, this isn't that good. But yeah, going back to the horror thing of today, like I feel like the only solid horror movies I've seen in like recent years is like Hereditary. The Babadook is pretty good.
And the what?
The Babadook.
It sounds like a slur.
We could make it a slur. It is about like a creepy black figure, so.
Oh.
I called it.
You're a Babadook, Ty.
No, but like I think the best horror movies are the ones that like the creature has a point to it. Like in Hereditary, like everything that's going on like feeds into the idea of like family grief and like all that stuff. And then
I'm going to turn on my light now. Getting very scary. I'm gonna get molested like an Evil Dead. You guys are talking about horror movies.
Evil Dead. I don't like Evil Dead.
You don't like Evil Dead?
I like Ash versus the Evil Dead, the show.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah,
I haven't finished the
Evil, like the actual movie. This kind of.
Yeah, the first movie, like it was
weird. They're just weird.
Yeah, like in the context of it being like a cult classic and all that, like I get it. But if I was like watching that movie for the first time without knowing anything about the franchise, I'd be like, "What the fuck is this?" Like I'd be so confused and not interested.
It's not scary. And
I did go.
It's the most basic, like, oh, this is scary because the concept is scary type thing.
It's just like shock factor, like that one part where like the chick gets raped by like the trees. It's like, oh yeah, shit!
That was
like, yeah,
the trees like starts like pulling at her panties and stuff.
But like demon trees, and I was all like,
yo.
See, the best decision that franchise ever made was choosing to be campy. Like once they embraced like how like stupid and goofy of a concept it was, like that franchise took off in my opinion. Because like Ash vs. the Evil Dead, it's so tongue in cheek and I love it.
Yeah, Evil Dead 2 was way better than like Evil Dead 1 because like they fucking like they knew it was like bullshit and like they had fun with that.
And the thing is like they still tried. Like that's the thing to me is like you can have those movies that are like stupid, dumb fun. But like if they don't try, then they're not worth anything. Evil Dead has lasted because it's clear that they tried. Whereas something like I don't know like what a good example would be. I guess something like The Hitman's Bodyguard's Wife or whatever that just came out recently. Like they clearly did not try. And that movie is like tongue-in-cheek stupid. I saw it. I know.
You saw it
I
in
saw
like
it.
theaters?
Yes, I saw it with my girlfriend in theaters, and it was. I had a fun time because of how stupid it was. Like,
Oh, okay.
to me, if they said this movie was in the same universe as the Fast franchise, I wouldn't be shocked. Like Ryan
I
Reynolds was
would.
in Hobbs and Shaw. Ryan Reynolds is the same character in every movie now. Ever since
And so is
Deadpool.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, well,
Okay, yeah, but
at least Samuel L.
is like
Jackson,
good.
like Samuel L. Jackson, like he can do something different. Like I've seen it. I watched Django.
But
He
he
did
doesn't
something
have to
different there.
try. But
Yeah,
he doesn't have to try. He
he
really
can
has
do
to
whatever
try.
he wants to do. He just chooses to be
Isn't
the same role.
he
Yeah,
getting
whereas
like an
Ryan
honorary
Reynolds, I
Oscar
don't know
now?
what Ryan Reynolds can do. I don't think he can do anything.
He's just consistent. No, because like after Green Lantern, he was just like, man, my career sucks. This movie sucks.
Yeah, but the thing
didn't
is,
even watch
the thing
the
is,
movie.
after Green Lantern, he was like, "Oh yeah, this movie sucks. I'm gonna make my career out of it." Literally every movie
All
after
the
that,
things
he's
that he's
making
been
fun
in
of
that
Green Lantern.
sucks, he just like makes
Yeah.
fun of the next thing that he does. It's kind of cool, but like also like shut the fuck up. Like I get it, your movie is bad. Make a
Let
good
me
one.
see. I don't think he's ever been nominated for an Oscar. Wouldn't it be funny?
If he ever got
Let's see.
nominated for anything, I would be blown
Society
away.
failed.
So he was.
Society failed.
So he was nominated by the Critics' Choice Movie Awards for Best Actor.
The Nickelodeon's Kids'
Best
Choice
Movie.
Awards.
Oh, probably. Oh, he was nominated for a Golden Globe.
Oh yeah, it was Deadpool,
Why?
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Deadpool.
For some reason, Deadpool got like Golden Globe nominations, and I was like, why?
It was it was just okay.
Even as a person
dude,
who saw it when
it's
it
kind
came
of
out,
funny
it's
looking back at how much people like really gassed Deadpool up. Like I remember at the time it was like Deadpool. Oh my god, this movie's amazing, guys! It's like the first time anybody has said "fuck" in a comic book movie. And
then we just kept doing it, and then it got boring.
It's
See,
not even
the
that.
thing is,
It's just like
I
it
don't
was
even-
such an in the moment thing.
Yeah.
Like you watch that movie
I don't even
now.
really get the thing about Deadpool.
Well,
Like
I think
as a character.
It's like people see him on like a surface level, on like as like an actual Deadpool fan. Like they only see him as like this, like on their surface, it's like, oh, he's loud and he says fuck, and he like talks about like Mexican
Like, oh,
dishes
look how
and
funny he pulls down his pants.
yeah, but like
exactly.
character,
I just feel like he's a self-insert. I just feel like he's a self-insert.
He literally
The writers just look back and like wink at, like,
it's like basically
look at us, we can have fun.
Like basically like you have this like niche section of the internet in the early like 2000s. Not even the niche section. It's like the majority of the section of the internet. That's now become niche, where it's like they're all like assholes who just do random bullshit, and it's like not funny. It's like Deadpool is the embodiment of edgy, unfunny humor now, but he's like underneath all of that shit.
He's
is
a
just,
great
like, actual character.
Yeah. Cause like he's like this tortured fucking like being who knows like his whole existence is just like bring like fucking like entertainment, and he can never truly be happy. That shit is fucking deep.
I need to read like the whole run, but Jerry Dugan's run on Deadpool, like I read like the tail end of it. It's so good. Because like that's
Marvel
all
Now run
like
is his best run. The best Deadpool run. The Marvel Now run. Best Deadpool run.
I need to read like the Marvel Now run and all that because I've heard nothing.
I just can't get into him because I feel like I always see him like, you know, I'm like scrolling through on like Twitter or something, Instagram. Like it's always just like funny stuff. And every like once in a blue moon, you'll just see this one sad panel of him having to kill somebody in like a really sad way, and he feels bad about it. And I'm just like, oh, it's pretty neat. But then I remember like the other 80% of his character, and I'm like, you know what? Never mind. I don't even want to deal with that.
I feel like the Deadpool movie and like the video game really like solidified that image. Like the video game especially was like terribly
insane
overall.
Oh, because it's like, oh, it's funny, and here's titty, and that's Deadpool.
Here's road titty. You get to make out with her.
Like that's literally his character now.
I feel like the animated series from Donald Glover could have been good.
Dude, that was such a missed opportunity. I heard, wasn't it like they made a Taylor Swift joke and like that was like one step too far, I guess.
Yeah.
No. They I looked it up. I did a research on Donald Glover for no reason. But like, the reason it was canceled is because like him and FX, they couldn't really like meet a middle ground between like his touring and all that. So like, it was just kind of canned.
They're making a new one though.
Jesus.
Making a new Deadpool animated
You know what?
series.
I'm really so sick of animated TV. I mean, like
What?
not animated TV, but like previously existing content, like adapting things. Animated TV shows are great. Like The Outhouse and The Owl House. I mean, like Infinity Train. All that shit is really good. But like, oh my god! Every time DC does an animated movie, I just cringe in my seat because it's so bad.
Yeah, I love
It's
Big
like-
Mouth.
See, the thing is, Josh,
What?
I think what you hate is I don't think
tell me
you
what
really
I hate,
mean that.
Ty.
No, I don't think you mean that. I think what you mean is
I know what I mean, Ty.
no,
My
you don't.
problem-
You don't.
Yes,
no, you
I
don't.
do.
No, you don't. You don't.
Okay, explain to me
What
I
you
mean.
hate is the
Mhm.
mainstream. You don't hate
No.
Invincible. You don't hate Invincible. You love the
I don't.
concept.
No,
of
I
Invincible.
liked Invincible.
Yes, exactly. You would want
What I
that.
hate is
be
that
adapted like that.
everything that they do now is just a 2-bit recreation.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
exactly.
It's
That's
just like I don't because it.
But
'cause
is
it's-
that
I'm
not
mad-
beneficial?
okay, I'm
Is that not
I'm the
beneficial?
burden of knowledge.
No, it's
Yes, it
not.
is.
It's not.
It is
the burden
beneficial.
of
No,
knowledge,
it isn't.
Ty. Because
It is
here's the
beneficial.
reason why I don't like it. The Long Halloween can just be a comic and still be fine. It doesn't need to be a movie. I don't need a 2-part movie of something I read 5 years ago. Like I
What
don't
I'm
need
saying.
that. I can
That's
just
not what I'm saying.
read it.
Look at,
That's not
like-
what I'm
Oh
saying.
yeah,
What
like
I
on
want,
DC
let's
side,
look
it
at a
is pretty
franchise.
the
egregious.
animation to make
Yeah.
a
Look at a
Batman.
franchise like
that has-
Sonic the Hedgehog or something. Should that
Oh my
not
god,
have like?
Sonic the
Oh, I'm
Hedgehog is
serious.
dead.
I'm serious.
I think what Josh is getting at, Ty, is just more so
Oh
like
my
taking
God.
like straight up adaptations. Like you look at the Killing Joke movie adaptation, it is balls.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
It is balls.
Absolutely
It's
terrible.
horrible.
because
But what I'm saying is, I feel like
What are you saying, Tom?
as we move forward with animation, there should be
Yes.
less adaptations from the mainstream, and like when we get like smaller franchises like the Black Panther.
But that's the
show
problem,
by
though, is that
BET.
these big adaptations are the ones ruining it for these smaller TV
yeah,
shows,
like
right?
if we were getting
It's-
like Green Arrow, like a
everyone-
Longbow Hunters adaptation,
It would
or
be
some-
ass. It would be horrible. No one wants it.
I feel like if
The
you're gonna
Longbow
like,
Hunters is already a bad story to begin with.
I
Why
don't know.
would
That
they
was like
animate
that's
it?
the only Green Arrow story I know off the top of my head. I haven't read it, so I don't know. But
if you're gonna
No,
like,
it's horrible.
if you're
It's
gonna
like
like,
the all-star Batman of like Green Arrow. It's so bad.
woof.
I feel like the
Maybe do Kevin
Injustice
Smith's
movie is
run.
going to be bad.
What?
I feel like
Like,
the Injustice
basically what
movie
I'm
is just going to be
saying
really
is,
bad
like,
and boring.
Animation has such a bad rap right now. Like
I
people,
highly
like,
disagree
people
with that.
fucking hate that.
I disagree.
I feel
so much
like-
with it.
yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
in recent years, especially with stuff like
people,
Rick and
Pe-
Morty,
yeah.
BoJack Horseman, what's another
It's
one?
not exactly in its twilight anymore, but it's still.
Oh no, I
great.
think adult animation is like succeeding, but I think like just it's kind of like how R-rated movies are taken more seriously than like the animated 3D movie that just came out. Like that's what I mean. I think like people aren't willing to give a chance to something like Infinity Train, which is like an extremely well-made
That's
TV
a
show.
complete lie. That is such a fallacy.
I mean, that's because it's on HBO Max.
There's such a small fan base for that, and that shit can still get canceled at any time.
Because
There's so
it's-
many animated TV shows that just
because it's
get
tied
canceled
to-
before they.
It's tied to a streaming service. Of course, there's going to be a
No,
small.
if it's on
not
cable
every-
or
Stuff on
something.
streaming services all the time.
No,
and
but
they
like
can-
if it's on cable or something, then obviously it's going to blow up because it has a large kids fan base, and subsequently, then it just
Yeah.
starts branching off into family.
Not,
Yeah,
not
That's
and
the thing. Everything is being put on a streaming
Those
service.
animated kids TV shows are not getting as much recognition as other things as the adult
What do you
animation.
mean? Amphibia is getting so much love. They had to fight for a season 2 finale.
Teen Titans Go.
Teen Titans.
I don't.
Teen Titans
That's
Go is-
amazing how nobody's mad
that's
about
a
that
pre-existing
anymore.
I am fine with Teen Titans Go. Like,
Teen Titans Go is fine.
I feel like animation as of right now is getting a lot more like respect in recent years, especially with stuff like Into the Spider-Verse, Soul, like a lot of like I feel like Pixar has like a big step in that for the most part in terms of seeing like animation as like a series, like it's not just a kid's medium, like it's a legit mature medium where you can do
But I also feel like
anything
it's-
you want
It's
to.
associated with the style.
With what?
like
What?
the 3D style is taken like animation styles also have like a considerable amount of play into how people perceive that content.
I do
Like,
agree 3D is like
sometimes
taking
the way
over.
that like the art style is can completely like determine the way that people look at that content.
Yeah.
I think I'm not saying that animation is like the worst thing and that people are shitting on it like they did when Teen Titans Go existed. Does it still exist? Is it still running?
Yeah, it's still going.
So it's still going.
Okay. Well, I guess Teen Titans Go is still going. It's not a bad show. It's just like it's been going on for a very long time.
Like the movie came
I
out
just-
and like
I
people
just
liked
assumed
the
that it's
movie
Not
and
good
like that
enough.
was it.
I feel like the people that like ragged on it so much are the reason why it's still going. Like they brought attention to it.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really shouldn't be. What is it like 6 seasons now or something? Like it really shouldn't be that long.
And like that movie, like people
the
thought it was gonna
movies
be like a
are-
fucking. They saw the movie and they're like, "Damn, this is actually pretty fucking good." Because
I love the movies. The movies are like unironically my favorite duology of all time.
I haven't seen the second one, but the first
I've
one was
never
really
enjoyed
funny.
something
I saw
much.
that in theaters and I was crying laughing. Like the scene where they had to go back in time and they had to kill Bruce's
Oh yeah.
parents.
Dude, when they killed Aquaman as a baby by just littering in the ocean, I was losing my mind at that scene.
Yeah.
Just a can, like a plastic can holder, just wraps around. You see the bubbles come up and they drive away on their trikes. Teen Titans Go murder some Justice Leaguers.
Like, yeah, I just wish like some animation because like it's not a lot of people, but there's not enough. I don't feel like there's enough people vocally combating it for it to not be an issue for me. Because it's like, yeah, you have shows like She-Ra that are pretty good and do get recognition. They get a lot of recognition actually, but like still,
nobody's talking about it.
I don't feel like I don't know if there's a lot of there's as much love for it as vocal as there is the hate for it. And I do realize that there is like definitely a lot of love for stuff like She-Ra and OKKO and like all the animated TV shows that are really good out right now. But then they're also getting canceled really fast. And that's also
ended.
TV shows get canceled like super fast now because of like streaming services. Because if they're not able to exactly keep up with what they want, then they can just make a new one. And then they'll just like oh my god.
Well, that goes into like
insane.
TV in general.
I feel like they have like a better chance of being picked up now that they get, to go.
Yeah, but it's also harder to keep it.
It's kind of true. Because like I feel like wasn't Infinity Train like it started off on Cartoon Network and got canceled, and then it was picked up by HBO Max. Like a miracle.
So these shows are having, but the thing about moving platforms is it's really hard to move platforms sometimes.
Oh yeah, that's very true.
It is for like
something
like Legend of Korra that moved back and forth all the time, but like, it's still like you're bound to lose a couple of fans from.
It's honestly so funny like how much that has expanded because like when Netflix first started, like I feel like they were kind of famous for that. Oh yeah, Netflix picked it up. They saved this show. And like nowadays, it's like who knows who's gonna revive this show if anybody. Like it's such a mad dash for like getting content out there.
They want to gain as much IPs as they can.
Yeah.
And like so many like companies and like channels are like grouped up in like streaming packages now that it's like who knows? Like it's so crazy to think the amount of content that's like coming out, and that's why like when people are like, "Oh yeah, content sucks nowadays," especially like I feel like since we're in that community, like,
we've been
especially in the
consuming
comic
more
community
media than anyone else.
Exactly, like especially in like some like the comic community when everybody's like, "Oh, comics suck now," and it's like read other comics. Like there's way more content now that you're bound to find something. Like And it goes with TV, it goes with movies. Like, there is something for you out that you will find at least 10 movies, shows, comics a year that you will probably love. If
people haven't been going indie. People haven't been going indie.
Thing, right? It's like the market is so diverse now that they don't really have time to make the same show over and over again. So everything that's coming out now, it's either like you're new and you innovate like this genre or this thing that, making something new. Or like you get canceled. And that's
Like
really
Daredevil.
it's really nice that a lot of new things get picked up, but like so many things get canceled after season 1. It's insane. Like Grand Army was a great show. One of like it was like so it lasted so long in the Netflix top 10 thing, and like that it got canceled right after, and they never got a new series order for season 2. And
See,
it's like
I would trade. I feel like I've never seen that show a day in my life, but I feel like I would trade a season of that just to make sure Stranger Things ended at season 1.
No,
It's so weird. Like it's clear that like Netflix has like certain darlings that they like keeping close to their chest, and it's like it's so bizarre to see. Like you just said, Ty, like with Stranger Things, like that blew up for I don't know what reason.
So quick.
Yeah.
No, like
yeah,
I'll admit, I
it's
really
short
did like the
IP
first season.
I
I
I
really
love
did
the
like the
first
first
season.
season, but it
Second
just kind of like
season, third
Third season
season,
was bad.
really
Yeah,
there was
bad.
there
at
was such a
first.
like a I feel like there was such a like a commercial gap in between season 2 and 3, like where I feel like they had a little too much fun in season. Like it's just so like tonally,
Season
it feels
3,
off.
I was surprised at how much people like revived interest in the show with season 3. Like there was like memes about it everywhere. Like people were like
Yeah,
really hyping it up, and it's like
You
this
think
isn't that
Netflix like
good.
made people like they like? I think Netflix what they do is they don't actually have a marketing. They just like kidnap on the internet and they like to like post their social
exactly.
medias like memes and shit. They're like all these fan accounts. They're not real people. They're just like they're created in the Netflix headquarters pod. They just put and they mass produce them.
I feel like Ty would be one of those agents.
Yeah.
Sorry, is this like a secret?
He's a
Yeah, but
Tyler
thing
the
is-
Creator plant.
What the fuck is that, Mike?
Yeah, that. I think that's your mic, Jim.
No, it's not mine. It's Josh's.
No, it's not. That's no, because I can hear it too. It's Bryson. It's
Oh.
Bryce.
Be mine, yeah.
It's Bryce.
Sorry.
Bryce.
I guess, yeah. Ty's a fucking sellout.
Yeah.
Oh my
You
phone.
fucking loser.
It's
Selling out to the
What-
corporation.
But then again, like
did y'all
it's
see
not what?
Did y'all see the Wendy's and DC Comics like Dr. Manhattan thing?
No. What is that?
You didn't see that?
Um,
You didn't see like the thing? Like fucking
Like the Wendy's, they had a
No.
tweet out that quoted Watchmen.
Yeah.
I don't have Twitter.
No, I sent it into the group. Oh wait, Josh hasn't been active.
Yeah,
But yeah.
you didn't add me back. It's been like a week.
Oh. My
I
bad.
was like, if they don't add me back, I don't care. They'll realize eventually.
Poor
Okay.
Josh.
And then you
But-
didn't. And
but,
then I was just, fuck them.
Moving on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sleeping under the rug.
Yeah.
No, but like streaming
Doctor
services,
Doom got cucked by Dan Slott.
all they want is to collect IPs. So like TV shows like Stranger Things and like basically if your show after season 1 hasn't become like a commercial success and that they can make toys out of and shit like that, it's really not probably gonna get carried. Because all these streaming services want is to like make the next IP, next brand thing that they can create, or else they're like gonna go to a different streaming service and then they're just gonna buy that. Which is why they have to give a bunch of originals. But the problem with that though is that there's so many of them and so different. There's so much different content, especially when they carry older stuff that people still want to watch. It's like at that point, that's why piracy went back up because nobody really pirated when Netflix was around. It kind of like went down. Maybe like if you didn't want to pay for it, like maybe a few, but like it's gone. So it's like you have to buy like 5 different streaming services now to like watch the one show that you want to watch or like the one you want to watch. So it's like,
I gotta get
it's
the
ridiculous.
Prime Disney Plus package deal just to watch Pirates of the
Fucking-
Caribbean. It's whatever.
I feel like Disney Plus prices like soared once the Mandalorian caught up.
Okay,
Oh,
Disney,
yeah.
Disney,
Like,
Disney,
I
Disney
feel like
is
it's
a-
ridiculous.
As much as people rag on like the weekly release, it's a genius move. Absolutely
wanna-
yeah,
genius.
it's a
100%.
marketing move,
Yeah.
definitely.
100%.
Because you have people like Jason who like did like Mandalorian drop like weekly. What was that like all
It
at
did
once?
drop weekly.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
dropped
yeah.
weekly, and that's why it blew up. Like
Jason
first, like
Watt.
what? Sorry.
Jason watched like all of Mandalorian, right? And then like afterwards, he didn't like renew his Disney Plus, and now he's gonna like wait until season 2 drops to like renew it. That's like
Season 2
like
already dropped.
it did.
Yeah, it dropped a while
Yes.
ago.
Huh.
It's like been over for like 3 months.
Yeah,
It ended in like December.
Oh,
yeah.
season 3. I mean, I don't know.
Wasn't that
I didn't
great.
watch the show. I didn't
No,
watch.
it wasn't that
I'm pretty
great.
sure everyone was like, "Yeah, this is mad."
Honestly,
Yeah.
people overhype. Like the first season, everybody was like, "Oh," and I was like, "Okay."
I gotta
The
say,
first episode
Bad
is
Batch.
great, and then like after that, I feel like until the Boba Fett arc, like where Boba Fett gets introduced, and then they have the Bill Burr episode. Like those are the only 2 episodes I genuinely enjoy out of that entire
The
series.
Boba Fett episode, it was great, like writing wise, but it literally just looks like they're out in the desert, and I just can't get that out of my mind.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't mind it. Like
It just feels
they
so
did it well
lazy.
enough. Like the action scenes were cool. Like seeing Boba Fett just go off and actually be a competent like human being for more than 10 minutes, like awesome. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'm not even like that big of a Star Wars fan, but like those like 2 episodes were like, yes, like this makes me excited for like Star Wars content, and then everything else in the series just made me numb and
Episode
not
3.
excited.
I think I like the Bad Batch more than like the men more
Oh,
than
the
I
Bad
like
Batch
like
is so
Mandalorian.
fun.
Yeah.
The Bad Batch is pretty cool, but I need to go back and rewatch all of the Clone Wars because I just like.
Oh, why'd you do that to yourself?
No, I'm not
the
gonna
Clone
rewatch
Wars
like
is
every.
what?
I'm not
Why
gonna
are you
rewatch all the
bagging on the
episodes.
Clone Wars, Josh?
I have a reading list.
Because I
I mean, I
watched
have a
like the
watch
first
list.
episode of season 1.
I
It was
feel
boring.
like the Clone Wars is like a hoax perpetuated by the Star Wars community, because I feel like at least 60% of that show is probably filler BS, and then the other
No, that's
40%.
exactly. Like I just feel like some of
I
it was
feel it in
really
my
good, but I
bones. Like
just feel like
anytime I go to watch it, I'm like, this
lot
is
of it was
not
just-
what I need.
No, because like
Well, you gotta watch the
I've never
Mandalore
watched the
arc.
Clone Wars. I watched like 1 episode, and it was the first episode of season 1. I was like, this shit is ass. Like, why is there a cult fan?
What kind of
And you know,
judgment
like,
is that?
well, because okay, you know what? I should be able to watch 1 episode of something and judge the entire show for that. Okay.
Okay,
No, you
no.
I don't know about
No,
that.
actually, he does have a point.
No,
He does have a point.
you
That's by
should-
pilot standards. By pilot standards, that is
like
very
at least
valid.
like a few episodes before you like judge the entire book by a cover. Like watch like 5 or like
Oh,
6
he's right.
episodes.
No, Josh was right. Josh is 100% right. He is right. Because I feel like, do you ever like read one chapter of a book and just like keep going even though it's terrible, or do you just put it down?
It depends. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
You shouldn't
I feel
feel
like it's a very
obligated.
case by case basis. Like certain shows, like they don't get good until like you hit a certain point. Like Agents of Shield, I feel like is a good example. Majority of season 1, ass. It is
Bad.
not good at all.
Yeah.
But then like the
Once it
tail end of
piggybacks off
season 1 is really great, and then from then on, it's a great show. Like
Yeah.
it really is a case by case basis, because like some shows
I
like
feel like
Dexter, great pilot. Last Man on
Mhm.
Earth, great pilot. And eventually those shows kind of taper off in their own respective ways. So like you can have the reverse of that as well.
Yeah. I feel like I don't really like judging like shows by like the first few episodes, because like they're trying to find like their footing and like set up shit, so like they're bound to be like really
Exactly.
slow. So like I try like not to like judge it unless I'm watching like a show and like this is like I like cannot like get into it.
Yeah. I agree.
I
Like,
don't know. Maybe I just have high standards, but I feel like sometimes just for some shows, if I don't feel like it's worth it, I'm not gonna watch past the first or second episode.
yeah, I feel
Like
like
that's just gonna be it for me. I'm gonna wait like 6 months,
yeah.
revisit it.
If the premise and like setup is good enough, I might keep watching. Or if like I hear good enough things, then I'll keep watching. Like Better Call
Yeah.
Saul, that like I'm trying to get through the first season. It is not a bad show, but it
Mhm.
does not keep my interest consistently. Like I'll watch one episode and then I'll go 2 months without watching the next one. like it's again not a bad show. It's just a matter of like keeping my interest, and I feel like that's what TV shows are like primarily trying to do nowadays. It's like what it's so funny because it feels like they're simultaneously trying to keep your attention, but also they have so
Mhm.
many filler episodes now. Like if you look at some like the Netflix shows that Marvel did are a prime example of that. Like how many filler episodes is in something like Luke Cage season 2?
Yeah.
Like that could have
I haven't seen that, so I
that
can't
could have been
really.
8
I have no idea what we're
episodes.
talking about. I just left for 5 minutes.
We're talking about like I was talking about like filler in TV show and how it's like simultaneously like reduced and yet like heightened at the same time. Because like if you look at something
Some
like Luke
filler is
Cage
good.
season 2, like that could have been
Mhm.
like 8 episodes at most, like pushing
Yeah.
it. But it's 13, and they like milk like, and you do need those filler episodes sometimes. Like
To like build like character and stuff.
yeah, exactly. Like as long as it
Filler is like the
does
best thing about a
something.
TV show.
What?
Filler can be the best episode of a TV if done right.
I agree. Like, I feel like filler for the most part nowadays is legit characters just kind of being like, man, last episode really happened. What are we going to do now? And then at the very end, they decide on what they're going to do next instead of them actually like building off of it for the entire episode. Like, it's just them kind of sitting around. Like,
Yeah.
I think
I feel
like
like filler. It's like a rare art that it's good. Like you can look at your average filler, like this is gonna be like a random example, like regular show,
The
season
beach
8, season
episode.
8 regular show. Like the last season of regular show, it's very plot based, and it has like it has like its few episodes that like are very story heavy, but like for the most part, it's all filler. But it makes sense because it never feels like the story stops and pauses for a minute. Like it's always ongoing and everything builds off of one another. Nowadays, it's just like, oh, we're going to point A. Let's stop at point C, B, D, A, E, Z. Then go back to point B, and it's so pointless.
it's egregious, especially with like network television. Like you look at like the CW shows or like something like Grey's Anatomy. I watch Grey's Anatomy with my parents, and sometimes it
I
can
don't
be an
like that.
absolute
You watch
slog.
Grey's
That's
Anatomy?
white people entertainment. That is white people entertainment.
That yeah.
I watch
that is
it.
white. Cracker,
Yeah.
cracker alert! Cracker alert!
The pure capacity of that show is just overwhelming.
It's just white noise to me.
Literally.
Bryce is telling us about Grey's Anatomy, and my fucking minority senses are just ringing. They're screaming for me to run.
Filler can be good. I think Avatar does filler really good. Like a lot of episodes in Avatar are just like
The Airbender.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like a difference between like Tales of like Ba Sing Se and like The Great Divide. Because like
yeah,
The
but
Great
there's
Divide filler
also
sucked
like an
ass.
episode like the beach episode, like that every anime does, but they did it in Avatar because Avatar's not an anime, but it's anime inspired. It's not an anime. It's not a fucking anime. But Avatar has that one episode.
Yeah,
I'm so sick of this debate. It's not a discussion. It's not an anime. It's an animation.
What's the anime?
What's the difference?
That's
What's
like the first
difference?
question Josh will ask a woman on the foot. So, what do you think about Avatar: The Last Airbender? And like, she'll just if she naturally says, "Oh, it's one of my favorite animes," he'll just like be like, "You're paying for the check," and then leave.
I will beat them. I will beat them.
You will
beat. That's it.
I
You'll
would
be
beat
in
them.
both ways, consensually or not.
Whoa. Whoa.
Whoa.
But it's not an unconsensual. But anyway, it's not an anime. And they have that one really good beach episode. It's like the one with Azula.
Oh yes, I love the beach episode.
Yeah,
the beach episode is so
it's
good.
a really good filler episode because it gives a lot of character, but it also like stops the story. It doesn't stop the story. It stops like the flow of the plot while still while still keeping the character. And I think that's really what TV show filler episodes should do.
Yeah.
They should give us more information on the plot. I mean, on the characters, without having to progress the plot in some
Yeah,
substantial
I feel
way.
like at that point, it's not even filler, it's just a breather. Like, to me, a filler episode is when nothing happens and I have
Like there's
learned nothing. But a
like
breather
Nothing
episode
happens
is when
or-
it's like people are actually like talking about it, they're like learning from it and like progressing. Like filler is
They're
just
regressing.
what?
They regress as human beings for an episode.
Yeah.
I feel like there has to be a like I will never knock filler, but because I feel like there has to be like a little bit of a breather in between big episodes. Like it can't
Yeah.
just go from like hit to
Yeah.
hit, or otherwise
Mhm.
your audience is just going to be absolutely tired.
Yeah, because it gets really like
boring.
Because like
No,
if
my God.
Invincible
It's
just
really
ended,
fast. Really
like-
fast plays.
if the entire last episode of Invincible was literally just Mark's dad beating him the whole time, that episode would
Yeah, I
be terrible.
loved it. I loved it.
It'd be exactly like The Walking Dead when they finally revealed who Negan killed. That episode is the most mundane, monotonous slog of an episode I have ever witnessed.
Why did it
on
have to be
television.
the Asian guy? Why did it have to be the? Why did it have to be the one fucking Asian guy?
Like the first 30 minutes is like them being like, oh, like it's basically just Negan teasing Relic, like, oh yeah, I should kill that guy. You thinking about it, huh? You're thinking about that guy I killed, huh? And like just he keeps saying it over and over again without actually revealing who was killed. When it should have
Okay.
just been
Well,
first
we
10
got some
minutes,
great
here's
memes
who
out of
died,
Invincible.
and then they move on.
We got some great memes out of that Invincible episode. It's like actually the best thing.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it is just Mark's. It is just like J.K. Simmons beating the shit out of his fucking son for like.
But was it
30
not
minutes.
entertaining?
But
It was
entertaining,
very
exactly.
It was
entertaining.
Because
so
we got so
entertaining.
many memes out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that moment isn't as like powerful as like, at least to me, it wasn't as like powerful or as good as like some people found it to be. And I think that's just because like Mark got the shit beat out of him the whole season. Like
Yeah.
we saw it already. Like it would have had more impact if like Mark had like
The train
won
scene.
all of his fights. And
Yeah,
then
like,
all of a
comic
sudden he
Mark
just got
did-
bodied. Like
yeah,
the-
we didn't see
Yeah,
like
he was
comic Mark get
consistently
like his
just-
fucking like ass kicked.
Yeah,
like
like,
There
I
needs
don't
to be
even
some
like-
sort of like calm before the storm for it to really.
I don't even
impact.
like how the comic did it that much, but at least got that part right, where it's like you didn't see Mark get that, or even really anybody get seriously that hurt. Like when the
Literally
Guardians get
everyone
killed,
in that
it's off
everyone
screen.
in that show just gets the shit beat out of them every episode violently.
yeah. When the Guardians
Honestly-
got killed, it was like really quick. It was
Yeah,
like
like they
a
amplified.
snap.
They took what happened in the comic and amplified it to 10, and it's a great scene. I love that scene because
Uh-huh.
that show
It
is
was
like
just
expert.
disgusting, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Look what they
It
did
just-
to them, a fraction of our power.
It just like I feel like they made like Omni-Man like because like Omni-Man in like the comics was like this like threatening ass dude when he was beating the shit out of Mark, right? But like they like portrayed him in like a way that like he was like stoppable. Like if Mark like genuinely like was trained enough, he could beat the shit out of Omni-Man, right? Because like the Mortal was actually putting up like a pretty decent fucking fight against like Omni-Man, which was like okay, there's my antagonist just getting the living shit beat out of him. I'm supposed to be scared now.
In
Yeah,
the
like-
show, they basically made him like invincible. Not no puns intended.
Well,
But he was just
not
he was
even
just kinda,
really, because I feel like in the show, like you see Mark get his ass beat by Battle Beast, and like they never even say like we tried to get a hold of that Battle Beast guy, but he was nowhere to be. Like, why not try to recruit
I
that
forgot.
guy?
He just skipped over it afterward.
Yeah, like they were like,
That
we're
was
gonna call in
hilarious.
every villain that we faced this season, but we're not gonna call the one guy that was able to beat up Mark. Well, like everybody beat up Mark. That's the thing. Everybody beat up Mark, and by the end of the season, it's like, how are we actually supposed to expect? Like, I know Mark is not supposed to win, but
It would've
why?
been more
Why are other
impactful.
people expecting him to even have a slight chance? Nobody.
Get the shit beat out of him.
I feel like
thing
the
is,
point
it
of
would've
episode,
been more
the point of the
impactful. We had only seen that opening with
episode.
Omni-Man at the beginning of one,
Feedback on this place.
where he just beats the shit out of everyone, and it's like, oh, he's beatable, but like he's just that nigga. Like he'll beat the bricks off of it. You know? So it's
I
like,
think
and
that-
then we see Mark, and he's like beating everyone up, except for that one time when he gets the shit knocked out of him. That would be cool. And then like, but no, like he just kind of gets the shit beat out of him every episode, and then like that one time that I feel like the main point of that entire episode of like him getting the shit beat out of him is like, one, we see the collateral damage it does to like other people for 1 second with the train scene.
Yeah.
Or at
Or
least
even
it's
like when
significant.
like the building is that was like more powerful to me. It's like when
That
like, the
was
building is
so
falling.
terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like
it's
you see
because
the mom and
building
daughter,
scene
like
is
that
terrible.
was terrible, but it was great. Like it was such a
Yeah.
good, like
Yeah, I think
gut
it's more
punch.
impactful not because we see Mark getting the shit beat out of him, but because of like the implications of it. Like,
Yeah.
oh, he's getting thrown into buildings and like people are dying, and then
Yeah,
also
like
his
that part is great,
dad
but
is,
I
like,
feel like it
Yeah.
could have worked on
an
both
asshole.
levels if you didn't see Mark get like constantly beaten down.
Oh, yeah,
by
definitely.
like those
Yeah.
machine people. Like they gave Mark a hard time. Like I don't know. It just
I
seemed
feel like that was like, if anything, had Mark won most of the fights in season 1, I feel like had he struggled with those machine people, that would have been like somewhat understandable.
I
'Cause I
feel
feel
like
they had an upper hand on Omni Man for like a second.
yeah.
Oh yeah, they did.
I feel like because
Even
like
the big
I feel
kaiju
like,
thing. Like if
That
Mark didn't
kaiju was
interfere,
so cool. That was so cool. He would have been dead.
yeah, if
Yeah.
Mark didn't interfere, Omni Man would be dead.
he would have
Show
saved himself
over.
an ass beating. He would have saved his. I feel like if they made like Mark like win some fights and stuff, they like see him like it'd be like way like the Omni Man fight would have been like way more like terrifying because like
Yeah,
he's
'cause
getting the
it's like
shit beat out of him.
it's not really like scary because it's like, oh, this dad is beating the shit out of his son,
Like
and
big
he has
whoop.
no regard for you.
Big
Yeah, it's
whoop,
just
we
like,
saw
oh my
it.
god, he's
It's
like
scary because he doesn't care about. It's scary because he's broken the illusion that he gives a shit. Like now he's just being an asshole. That's really what came from that episode. We already knew he was a dick. We already knew he was like he was an asshole. But now he doesn't care that people know, and that's scary.
Tell you how many times I was genuinely scared for the mother. Because like
oh dude.
I haven't read the comics, so I was just like so scared that he was gonna kill her.
Yeah.
Especially when she found out and he just
That's
smashed
the
the
one
wall.
thing I really appreciate about the show is how much more character they give Debbie. Like in the comic, like she's barely like
She's
there.
basically just drunk all the time.
Yeah. Did y'all see
Like-
the new Ryan Oatley post where he talked about the
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
About a video game?
That's
no the
I hate
the
niggas.
Anissa.
I hate the world. Like, why it consistently trash? Like,
For context
that-
for viewers, Ryan Otley, the artist on Invincible, revealed that the most requested original page people have asked him for, like so they could buy it off him, is the page in which Mark gets raped by a female
Ew.
yeah.
Mhm.
Ew.
Basically, they were asking for like the sketch art.
that
Oh.
page was in like they
They were just
it wasn't
asking
like
for rape art. Like
they
that's
didn't show it
There's-
like off screen. Like
Oh,
they showed
there's
like,
legit,
parts
like-
and like
There's
Like-
20 some panels on the page depicting
was
her
legit.
ripping the
I
clothes
didn't read that
off.
scene.
I
I just
don't-
could not stomach that scene. I just had to skip it.
that
Like,
scene was mad uncomfortable.
that was like actually disgusting.
But
Well, people
yeah,
wanted that. Why did you
That's
want that? Like, what?
disgusting.
because they want fucking mommy dommy.
The only
fucking
reason
That's
I
not
could
even
think
mommy
to
dummy.
ever
That's
buying that
rape.
is
That's
so
just
I could
rape.
throw it in the
It's
garbage
rape.
and burn it forever.
It's not even like oh, it's BDSM or some shit. It's like that's rape.
fucking
Like that nigga got raped.
He said no.
Robert Kirkman literally like wrote that and was like, yeah,
That's
this
honestly,
is
Yeah,
like that's
exactly.
like that's the
That's the
boys.
one.
That's on par with the boys for me. Like maybe worse.
Yeah.
But the difference is like this. That's all the boys is, and this
Yeah.
is one scene.
Yeah.
All Garth Ennis writes is like, and they fucked, and it's like really, and then he's like, okay, so how do
And
you
they-
take the sentence and make it the grossest thing possible?
I'll put a weasel in his underwear. That'll be funny.
That reminds me of that one scene where like with Soldier with like what's his name, Soldier Boy, not
And
to be confused
Homelander?
with Soldier Boy, Soldier Boy.
Yes. Yeah.
Not
Soldier Boy.
Soldier Boy.
Soldier Boy, not Soldier Boy.
I know,
Soldier.
but like Soldier Boy, not Soldier Boy.
Soldier Boy.
Just say
Soldier
the
Boy.
what
Between
scene?
Soldier Boy and God. Soldier Boy did it first. Soldier Boy, he's trash.
Oh my
But
god,
basically-
Josh, fucking, yeah.
But yeah, there's that. You know, I think everybody knows the page that I'm talking about. But it's like the page where with Homelander.
He's like, dude, what did
And
you
Soldier
do?
Boy's like,
is that gay?
This
No.
gay old
Well, how
God
could you
almighty.
possibly think that that's gay, dude? I just gave you a quick reach around. I don't know what's gay about that. Just homies helping
Hero-
homies, releasing
Bro, I'm
stress.
just saying.
It's like
Hero
that
gasm.
black.
Fucking
It's
nigga
like
in the ass. That does not make me gay.
it's like that Black Mirror episode, but without like the contemplation.
Yeah. Hero Gasm is like genuinely like one of the worst fucking comic books I have ever written because like the whole plot,
You wrote it?
like the whole yeah Garth Ennis wrote Hero Gasm.
No, I
And,
said you wrote it
has
because you said
written
I have
worse
ever
things.
written.
No, I've ever read. Shut up. But like the whole like you you don't even have to read it to like know it's bad. Like you can like
Just
look
by
up
the
like
name.
the
It
synopsis.
just
by it.
sounds bad. It just
Hero
sounds
gasm.
Look,
Yeah,
I
honestly.
will.
The
I will
show
literally look
has
up the
been
fucking
surprisingly
synopsis.
good at taking some of those vile parts and like making it decent within the context of the show. Like in the context of the comic, all of the gross out shit is like it's just bad. Like it's just gross. I
Oh
don't want to
my
look at it.
God.
It's terrible. But in the show they make it work somehow. Like
They
I
give
don't
it like actual character reasons.
yeah,
to
like they
exist.
give them character and then like when the bad stuff happens, there's a proportionate reaction. I think that's the
Yeah.
reason why it works. Like when the dude's face gets crushed by that one chick,
Oh yeah.
like when she sits on his face, like, and they're like,
Yeah,
oh, like
Oh,
They're not
that's
like,
us
oh,
too.
yeah, yeah. It's
They're
like,
like, oh yeah, that was hot. I just, yeah, like Frenchie's just sitting there, like, I just popped that bone there. Like, he's not sitting there like, well, that was hot, bro. Or like, I don't know, Butcher was like, "Oh yeah, mate, that was pretty good. That reminded me of when my pregnant wife popped out that super baby and I beat it with a lamp." Like they were actually grossed out by it, and like that's why it works. And then like when Butcher uses a baby to like decapitate a man,
yeah.
like it's like he's like, "Oh frig, like that's awesome," and like. That's
Fucking
the audience.
diabolical.
Like that's the reason why it works is because there's at least one character in every scene in which something like that happens, where you identify with that character. Is like, yeah, I'd probably react like that in that scene. Where in the comic, you'd never have that character. It's
They
just
Yeah.
like
you
show it
yourself
and then-
sitting there witnessing it and being like, I feel gross. I need to go
Yeah.
throw up.
Here's a fucking synopsis for Herogasm. In the boys comic, Herogasm is an annual festival in which most of American superheroes meet in a secret, remote tropical resort for a company-sponsored orgy.
That really sounds like some Epstein Island
That's
stuff.
just what.
That sounds disgusting.
I've never actually read the boys comic because I quit after issue 1. I've just seen like
Trust me.
I read the first volume and that was it. That was
I've read
I could
all of
stomach.
it. I've read all of it.
Oh my god.
I've read all of it twice.
No, because like in the first issue, I was like, "Did he
Twice.
rape her?" And I was
Twice.
like, "Yeah."
Twice!
This is
I read all of it twice.
twice.
It's like, yeah, I read all of it twice. It's like,
Nico,
it's
why
like
are
a card.
you weird? You watched like the first couple episodes of like redo of Healer, and then you like watch this shit. Like, what are
The
you
boys
doing?
comic is like, it's like a
What
car
are you
crash,
doing with
but
your
you can't
time?
like look away. It's like
Yeah, but car
it's
crashes
bad.
usually only happen once. It's over with. You move on with your life. You don't like record it and then go back to it and be like, yo, that was sick, bro. I can't look away. I just keep replaying it. Like, no. You walk away after the car crash has happened.
Why I
What are you
read it
talking
weird.
twice.
about?
I
You're
don't
weird.
fucking know.
No, because
I
it's
don't
like
fucking
I quit after issue 1. Bryce quit after the first volume. You were like, "This shit nasty,"
I like
but let me do it again.
Run that back.
Besides, you don't even think it's disgusting. You just liked it so much that you had to go back for seconds.
Yeah. It was like one of those bad. It's so bad it's good. I have to do it like twice.
You don't double dip if you don't like the sauce. You feel me?
See, I did that one time with a movie called Black Christmas. I saw it opening night with a friend, and it was one of the best theater experiences I've had because that movie is so terrible, but I had such a good time making fun of it. And then I double dipped to go with a different friend group, and it wasn't as good, and I just felt empty by the end of it.
Oh yeah.
So
It was, yeah.
ever since that moment, I've learned never double dip on a bad movie. Or anything really, like especially with a bad comic, I could if I once I read Civil War, something like Civil War 2 or like I don't know,
because you spend like an hour, like 30 minutes, like reading something.
Yeah, like with a movie, like it's like moving before there's something like entertaining you, whereas like reading, like you with every word you are choosing to move forward. And June saw every word of the boys. He saw every dick. He saw every boob. He saw every rape, and was like, "Yes, I must keep going."
I don't know. I thought he'd be better.
No, shut up. You don't get to defend yourself.
Fucking, I don't know, man. I don't know why I watched twice. I don't know why I read it twice. You're done. The new Boys comic is pretty good though. The one by Garth Ennis. That one's actually pretty good. It's not like the book at all. At the No-G book, it's actually pretty good.
Good.
What's it called?
Dear Becky. Jason was really praising it.
That one.
Yeah, that one's actually like compared to like OG Boys, it's pretty fucking tame.
Maybe Garth Ennis is like he just got all. That was like he just needed to get it out of his system.
Maybe he was just going or something.
Me and my friend were joking that Seth MacFarlane has to like get like a miss out of the system by just making a really terrible movie every once in a while, like A Million Ways to Die in the West or like Ted 2. Like he just has to like get it out of the system just so he doesn't transfer that energy to Family Guy. And I feel like that's what Garth Ennis was doing.
Okay, yeah, but Family Guy still sucks.
Family Guy still sucky though.
That was the joke, okay? That was the joke. It's like
that is right.
But I feel like that's what Garth Ennis was doing. He was just channeling all of his bad energy and like
his Batman book came out
into that book, and that was the result. I think the worst part is that like an artist got that script, and every time he was like, "I will continue to work with this man," and the publisher didn't bat an eye. Like nobody batted an eye. Like
because it was selling. It was selling.
I get it with Garth Ennis. Like, he wrote the damn thing. Of course he's not going to bat an eye. But the artist who gets the scripts saying, I want a scene where he skull fucks the president or whatever happens in that book.
What?
He skull fucks. He skull fucks the. Why do I fucking remember? He skull fucks the decapitated head of the president.
There was one panel where like you see Homelander eating a baby while it's like crying. Like you see its face like crying as he's biting into it. Like he saw that script and he was like, I will draw this. I will do it to the best of my like he draws it too well. Like everybody involved with that book, I despise you. I hate you. Why do you make I don't know.
Well, no, because wasn't it in like the early 2000s?
It was the early 2000s has to be like one of the most wildest times for entertainment.
Look at Spider-Man. Because that was when like counterculture like reached its like death. Because like it got because we were progressing so much in that short time, like more than we ever had before. But they were like, yeah, we need an equilibrium here. So they just decided to be the shittiest type of person ever. And that's why, like, now we have, like, all the people who, like, go back and they're like, why did you do this? Like, why? What was this for?
WWE, like, everybody goes back to that and, like, points to that. And, like, I have to agree. Like, WWE is, like, the prime example of, like, we don't care. We're going to do whatever we want.
Yeah.
And you know what? It worked. Because I watched that as a kid all the time.
Have y'all been reading the new Garth Ennis Batman book that just came out?
Reptilian?
No, I never. I've read one Garth Ennis book in my life, and I've read panels of like the first issue of every Garth Ennis book. I only got through Punisher Max. Everything else, I was like, This shit is
You
gross.
actually read Punisher Max?
I read
yeah.
I read like the
I
first
read
collection of
Punisher Max,
Punisher Max. It's
and
like
I
not
read
bad,
all
but
of
it's not
Punisher
Punisher Max. I read all of Punisher Max.
I read
I
Punisher Max.
I don't know if I can stomach something like that. Like it just
No,
seems so.
I read it. I read it when I was
it's
younger.
really not that bad from like what I've
It's
read.
yeah.
It's
Compared to
not.
the
It's
boys,
not
it's not
as
that
bad,
bad.
but it's still bad.
It's
Like
still
it's
bad.
like it's grimy and like gross stuff happens, but it's not like the only
It wasn't as
uh
bad as the books.
the only Garth
One
Ennis Punisher
art.
Max story that I like is the one where like it's the Vietnam
Holy
one
shit! It's raining.
where I think it's called like Daredevil Born, not Daredevil, Punisher Born or something like that. I don't know. It's like it's basically
it's
like
raining.
from the POV of this like random dude who's in Frank's company, and like you get like his perspective on Frank Castle, and it's really great. And
I
like
feel like
what?
Punisher, like Marvel Knights Punisher, is like way better than like Punisher Max
I
whatever.
need to
Because
read
Punisher
that
Max
one.
is because like
Oh, Spider-Man
like-
Marvel Knights tortured me. Like I
was
read
it?
it. I was like,
That's
'cause,
not
like,
that bad. It's just
Garth Ennis wrote for like Marvel Knights Punisher, and it's like it knows it's because like Punisher Max is like
it knows
him
it sucks.
him being
it
like
knows that it's bad.
no fucking shut up, Josh. Fucking Punisher Max was like him being like edgy as possible, and like him being gritty, like him having Franco like kill like slavers and shit, and like Punisher Marvel Knights is like him fighting against some like Russian dude attached to some chick with like big boobs. That's like basically what Marvel Knights was, and it was good because it was goofy and it was campy, but it still retained like Punisher, if that makes sense.
I don't know. I feel like Punisher
honestly,
just
like a
kind of
fairly solid Punisher run. I only read like the first volume of it. I didn't finish it. It was like I think it was the Marvel Now Punisher. It had Mitch Gerrard's on art, and it's actually pretty good. And like he goes up against Electro, and like he has to use like rubber bullets and stuff, and he has like a sweet costume. Like it's actually like fairly decent. And I was
Have you read one
Marvel
where
Knights
like
Spider-Man
it's
ruined
like
Electro for
the
dude, Marvel Knights Spider-Man is so weird considering it in like the larger context of continuity, like how Norman like sends out that letter to him at the end, and like, nobody ever mentions it.
That Electro tried to fuck Spider-Man, it's like
That was pretty funny.
I can't forget that.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
I'll never forget that. I'll just every time someone says Electro, I'm like, yeah.
But to me,
that's
like,
the nigga who wants
as
to
a
fuck Spider-Man.
Spider-Man fan, like I've grown numb to it. Like Norman Osborn had sex with Gwen Stacy and they had twins. Like that, it can't get worse than that. Spider-Man's marriage was broken down
Trouble?
on a spiritual level. Yes, I've heard of Trouble. Where
I've read Trouble.
Have you read it?
I've read Trouble.
I didn't read it.
Have you read Trouble?
I haven't read Trouble. I heard how bad it was. I heard the premise.
I read Trouble 5 times. I'm kidding.
What?
5 times. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
It was only 3. It was only 3, guys. Come on, calm down.
I'm joking. It's only one. It's only one. I'm joking. It's only
After
one
reading it once, I actually heard it was like, yeah, I had to keep going. Like
what?
Like after reading the first issue, I was like, this is awful, but I need to keep reading it.
What?
It's just it's
some things like,
and it's not
like,
even as bad as something like The Boys, where it's like it's just gross. It's just like it's more of like a why was this made?
Yeah,
it's like reading the Clone Saga consistently. It's like why did you make this? But like.
Well, Clone Saga, like at least Clone Saga, I understand. Like financially, it was doing well, so like they were like, "Keep it going, guys! Like we just have to come up with anything that will sell." Whereas that, like, the only way it makes sense is like we have to get like a female teenage audience, give them this. But even in that context, why?
It still sucks.
Yeah, like
no, because it's
even
so obvious it was written by a dude who has never touched women.
Was Trouble the one where like Aunt May fucks like Peter's dad?
Yes.
Like a young
Aunt May is actually Peter's mom.
That is so weird. Is it canon?
I'm pretty It's still canon. Yeah.
Ew.
It's still canon. But it's never been retconned because no one wants to address it.
It's the same thing with Sins Past. Like nobody addresses it. Like
no one wants to touch that shit. Spider-Man honestly has like some of the worst retcons in like all of.
I agree.
Like he actually
Spider-Man,
sucks.
I feel so bad for like for some of the writers at Marvel.
And they're all in continuity.
Yeah, like that's the thing is like they're all in continuity, but like if you acknowledge it, then you acknowledge it's very much a Schrodinger's cat situation. You open the box and that cat is alive. That retarded mutated cat is alive, and you have to look it in the eye and acknowledge its existence. But if you leave it closed, it might be dead, and that's the situation they're in.
That's the thing, right? Because it's like, how do we retcon that? Like,
How do you
how do you
something
feel
like
like,
that?
okay, well, I'm actually your real mom, and then we have like a story arc. One writer needs to just take it for the team and have the shittiest.
I would so do that.
Where it's just dedicated to fixing.
Have Zdarsky do it. Have Zdarsky do it.
There's only two. There's only two ways.
Supposed to be like the tape now for it.
Wait, what?
Huh?
Oh my god! What did you say?
What?
Is Zdarsky's supposed to be like the fix-it tape for all bad?
He's supposed to go in there and he's supposed to fix shit. Either him or Donny Cates. Either him or Johnny Cates.
No, Donny Cates also ignores continuity. He like
fuck it.
Donny Cates,
have Kelly Thompson do it.
Like, okay, I see what you're trying to do. That's dumb, but I'll fix it. That's literally Donny Cates. He's like, I see what you're trying to do. I don't want to do that, but I guess I'll use it.
Yeah.
that's all.
I feel like there's only two ways in which you can explain stories like Troubled in Sin's Past. One, go the Grant Morrison Batman route and have it be like he like those stories were drug trips or terrible nightmares that Peter had some nights. Or
it's like, how do you know about retconning?
I have like this Spider-Man pitch in my head, like comic wise, where like when they break up One More Day, my idea would be that like the issue would basically explain that Norman Osborn like teamed up with Mephisto, and he had Mephisto change certain elements of like just stupid little things, like oh yeah, I bang, like just the most retarded like little details, like oh yeah, actually your aunt is your real mother, and like because Green Goblin is that much of an idiot and a petty man to do that, I think.
To like,
make it so that like he banged Gwen Stacy.
I would have like Deadpool reference it in one book. And he would just reference all of the string of the most dumb shit Spider-Man has ever had in his history. All of it. We're just gonna take it all out in one line and say, man, the writers are really dumb for doing this, and it's just gonna be the best. It's gonna be the most screenshotted comic book page of all time because it's gonna have a list of the most of all
it's
of the.
It's gonna be a very long panel
Spider-Man has ever done in his entire life, and Deadpool's gonna say, man, let's erase that from continuity, and then he just erases it, and it's gone.
That would be an amazing. That would be an amazing arc, actually, like a 3-issue arc where he takes out each story. Like he just takes like a recon. He gets a recon.
Deadpool fixes Spider-Man's continuity.
Yeah. Finally, something I can give out.
That would be an amazing event, in my opinion. I would read that too. Like. That could be great. He's like he goes over Spider-Man's history and is like, man, you had it rough.
He just like plucks Peter out of bed one day.
It could be like that Booster Gold story that happened in Tom King's run, but better.
Yeah.
Like, and it actually ends well. Like it ends better than where we started.
Yeah.
We just redo it all. It's just like Deadpool knows that he's a fictional character, so it just works. And it's like he doesn't even have to pretend like he has some superior reasoning. It'll just be like, yeah,
that sucks.
Yeah,
really sucks.
He just knows it. He knows that it's there. He knows he's fake. You don't have to actually come up with internal like logic for it. It's just Deadpool breaks the fourth wall for like 3 issues, and he fixes Spider-Man's continuity.
Yeah,
unironically, it would be the best way to get rid of it because if you tried to get rid of it in continuity. Like, by acknowledging that those twins exist still, like, it's gonna fall apart.
They did. There were fucking arcs after Sin Past that acknowledged
the
that
only
shit.
time they have acknowledged Sin's past at all in a Marvel comic that I can think of is in
Was like
Marvel
Nick Spencer's.
No, in Marvel 1000 when Nick Spencer's run did kind of hint to that a little bit, but
Yeah.
in Marvel 1000 there's that page where it's like, what would you take back if you could? And then there's that one page of J. Michael Straczynski where he's like, Sin's past. Like that was the only out of all the things that man has written, Sin's past.
Yeah, and I feel like
Which it wasn't even his idea. It wasn't even his idea. It was
Marvel made him do that. They sat him down and went,
well,
right, look.
At
look,
first
look.
he
That's
was
the
like,
thing, right? It's like he's the guy that you go to for Spider-Man like shit stories. It's like he'll just do it. He'll make it. Like,
well, no,
at
I
that
don't even
point,
think he was like,
Just take one for the team.
well, at first he was like, I want to retcon it so like him and Gwen had like unknown babies, and she like kind of like hid him away. But editorial was like, no, let's make it even juicier and have it be Norman Osborn.
Ooh.
So, which it's already a stupid idea. I don't like that idea
Yeah.
of Peter being like an absentee
But now
father.
canonically, Peter never hit.
Yeah, but
Peter never hit.
Yeah, he never hit, and a geriatric 55-year-old creepy man was able to use his animal magnetism to get this teenage, well, not even teenage, college-age woman. Disgusting.
like between the ages of like, even if they're an adult, between like the ages of like 18 to 20, if you're
still
40
weird.
or whatever, you're still weird.
That's still
weird.
That's fucking
That's
weird.
still weird.
Legally, you will not be facing ramifications.
Legally, you're fine.
Morally,
Legally, you're fine.
You won't be arrested, but that doesn't mean that you're not weird.
Yeah.
Like the fact is, like this whole like when the I think it's like Lindsay Lohan, and her like she like there were shit counting down to the microsecond that she turned 18.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like
they did that with a lot of.
The only thing stopping you from being a pedophile is the law, and you're just weird. And this is why, if you're a pedophile, we should just cut your dick off and just put you in jail. Like, I don't know why you deserve it anymore.
Shout out to he knows who. He's probably listening to this podcast. Fuck you. If I ever see your face, I'll beat the shit out of you.
All right,
I don't even know who that is.
Skinny Bones.
But just like, we should just do that for every character that has like a shitty retcon at one point.
Yeah, it should be like, honestly, like, you could sell that to Marvel as an event.
Just have like Deadpool just like come to like them at like
sell
night.
That to Marvel as an event.
Yeah.
Deadpool destroys Marvel history.
Yeah. Daredevil retcons the Marvel universe. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's legit all you need. They were able to make 2 Deadpool kills the Marvel universe books. 2.
Yeah. And they made the Cosmic Ghost Rider one too.
Yeah. They can do it. They can do it.
Just
they can do a Deadpool retcons the Marvel universe. Get rid of
Deadpool.
Get rid of Captain Marvel's rape story. Get rid of.
Oh my god! Don't remind me of that.
Just have like fucking like Deadpool come into like the people's like
to birth her rapist.
Oh my god! Yeah.
How the fuck?
Jim Shooter.
Like, who was like? Oh yeah.
Jim Shooter.
So we have a story, right? So Captain Marvel gets raped, but then we find out that the person that raped her is actually the baby that she's carrying. So then
Jim Shooter.
Guys, we reached our 200th issue. What should we do? Well, nothing says anniversary like rape. Like, I don't know.
What was the point? There's like no point for it. It's not like it's an editorial like lacking decision. It's not like
that was Jim Shooter. That was all Jim Shooter.
And it's
it's not even like with Spider-Man.
It can only be birthed of stupidity.
Yeah, with Spider-Man's marriage being retconned out of existence, like it makes sense because it's like, oh, now Peter can like date other women. Like there's a natural like point A to point B
if you
logic
don't like it,
there.
At least there's a reason, and you can just think that reason is stupid.
Yeah,
But
whereas that, like, there's no reasaning. Like you just said, it's born out of stupidity.
Yeah, I just want to be raped. Like
okay,
what?
Yeah, like he's like going over the scripts, just like looking at it, like glasses, like zooming in on the text. Okay, but what if she was raped though?
It's
Like, I feel like there's some really cool
not
stuff
even
that
like
could
an
happen.
important enough like story in Marvel history to like.
I heard rape is really in nowadays. It's the 80s, right? So,
Like it's like you couldn't even justify it by like, oh, this story's boring. Let's add rape. Like what the fuck? Like what?
Garth Ennis
You could have made it more
mentality.
interesting at that time by adding in a black character. Like what do you?
Maybe Garth Ennis is like secretly like the son of Jim Shooter or
Garth
something
Ennis
like
actually
that.
went back in time.
Whispered in
weird
his.
how
He did the Eobard Thawne thing where he just whispers in your ear really fast to make you do something.
yeah.
Hey Barry, why don't you go jerk off real quick? Hey Wally, why don't you kill all these people? Cover up the bodies.
That's what the TVA should do. They should like come whisper in your ear to make sure you do their thing.
Hey, mama,
All of
whisper in
your
the
thoughts
ear.
are actually just the TVA telling you what to do.
I find it
That'd be
weird
so
how
much
like
more efficient.
I'm just saying,
Just
like
Owen
it would
Wilson
make-
coming up to every person in existence who is thinking about going off script. He's like, "Hey, why don't you actually go over there and talk to that cute girl? Because I don't think that petite Asian 14-year-old is gonna appreciate you talking to her." Like, hey EDP,
Yeah, we don't really have interviews.
instead of actually going out for cupcakes, why don't you meet this 14-year-old?
That's the thing, but that's the thing, though, right? Technically, rapists and pedophiles are all a part of the.
They're on script. They're on script.
Somewhere the TVA is actually like you've had to face your time trial crimes because you didn't talk to that
rape.
one teenage girl.
Your trial against the sacred timeline is that you didn't. O.J. Simpson, your crime against the sacred timeline is that you didn't murder your wife and her lover. How do you plead?
No, because
Not
they do
guilty?
stuff like that. Because Thanos was meant to destroy the world. All of these huge atrocities in the MCU meant to happen. So if they didn't happen, they would like reboot the timeline to make it happen.
I mean, like the doctor who like was like working on Peter Quill's mother, he like is able to solve it, and they just like pull him out of there immediately. Like, you can't do that. You can't save his mother.
No, they should use the TVA to explain the recasting of Rhodey.
That'd be kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
funny.
You can't be paid more.
You can't be this black man. You have to be this black man.
They should do that to explain the casting. It's like, oh shit, we got the look wrong.
Well,
They need to be a different person.
Get Edward Norton out of here. Look, Edward Norton was a paid TVA actor filling in for Mark Ruffalo. Just
He's too light skinned. We need to replace him.
we need the
At one point
darkest possible
at one
man.
point in his life, his dark melanin will be useful too.
Yeah, Terrence Howard isn't black enough. We need those nostrils flared, and we need that skin dark.
His melanin protected him from that fall. And he died. Against the secret
Oh my god.
God damn it, Thor! You're supposed to be fat. Ah!
Where's the pop alley?
We need to have this Fortnite reference now.
Fortnite is still in for 2023, which at this rate, they're not far off. Like, they're actually on point with that. Surprising.
Yeah, I mean that is true. Fortnite just keeps adding. It just keeps expanding.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been funny if in that footage you just see like that Thor Fortnite skin that they added from like the recent comic run in that clip. Hey guys, look it! I'm cranking 90s. Thor, your crime against the sacred timeline is that you didn't crank 90s in Fortnite.
That means everything in your life is like it has to happen that way, or else it branches the secret timeline.
Yeah.
If you're late to a meeting, if you die, like literally everything that happens in your life is determined.
Like you're about to get head from that one girl you've always dreamed of, and then all of a sudden, just Owen Wilson bursts in, and you think, "Oh wow, this makes it 10 times better." Owen Wilson is here, and then nope, he's here to interrupt it. He's here to make the party 10 times worse. hey, sorry, buddy, but you can't get your dick sucked. I mean, I can maybe help you out when we get you into the TVA, but you got to help me out. We got to hunt this down, this variant of yourself. How many times has Owen Wilson done this, where he like just gets a variant of the person he's tracking down? And is like, hey, why don't you work with me, buddy?
How about like a fucking while now since like
See, if you get your dick sucked today, then you won't have a wife to suck your dick in the
You will have nothing. You will become a crack addict.
You just have to hold back. How old are you? I'm like 14. Just hold on for like 50 years and you'll get there.
Eventually, you'll get your dick sucked by a crack whore that you pay. Okay? It's not that bad. You get there eventually.
The nurse sucks your dick as you're dying. Okay? Just... It's only gonna happen once, and it's only gonna happen once. So just
it's like
save it for the future, okay?
It's like that Rick and Morty episode taken to the extreme, where like Morty is trying to get to that like future where like where Jessica says "I love you" and was like by his deathbed. He's like, "Oh, I need to get there," and like he's like, his whole way through the episode just to get to that point. Like that'd be a nightmare to live.
It's like that one other episode from like Rick and Morty where like he has like he can like go back in like time to like do where like he can like stop
like
time
respawn?
and like do shit. Yeah. Like,
You guys
like,
do know Loki is written by Rick and Morty writers, right? That's why they're so similar.
Well then why the fuck is it so boring? I'm just kidding.
I don't know. Don't ask me. They're like 6 episodes long. If it was like 12 or 13, it would have been better.
Yeah.
I like Loki. Loki's like
Loki
the
too.
best.
Yeah, Loki is.
I think it's
like
been
Loki.
consistent. It's
good.
been really good.
Yeah. People have been freaking out about how he's
people
fluid
keep
now.
People keep freaking out about how comic book accurate it is, and it's really just pissing me off, you know? Like
to me, the point I know when people are being ridiculous about like representation when they themselves are talking more about that character's gender identity or race more than the actual character or show does. Like
they literally didn't even like say it in the show, like, oh, he's gender fluid. Like they probably will, like eventually at some point in the show, but like
yeah.
They did. They had it. Well, they didn't say
it was in like a
but, like they had it on like a folder. It was like no, it was like it was in the show. It was like on like a file folder. You had to squint to see it.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, like
yeah. I see that.
Because they do that all the. You know what? I kind of hate how the MCU is like so blatantly gives out bait for this show. Like this show is just like WandaVision, but now we already know that like it's gonna be true though. Like this time we actually know because now people are like, okay, all the Loki conspiracy theories are okay. So you remember this one movie? Well, actually, if you zoom into the very back of the shot, you can see that this thing, okay, is actually going to be in this thing. So if you go to Ant-Man, all right, you could zoom into the very back. Okay, spoilers for Loki, obviously, because it's going to be right. You zoom into the very back, you can see a city inside the quantum realm. What is Ant-Man and the Wasp 3, Quantumania? What is this whole phase about? It's about time travel. So I already know I'm going to be right.
Yeah, it's about the multiverse / time travel.
Gosh, you are not going to be right. Loki's setting up Doctor Strange too.
Wrap it up.
Well, I feel like they all like feed it because I feel like what the MCU is doing, from what I understand, is that like the multiverse is bred out of the timeline. Like, from what I'm understanding, at least.
Yeah.
It's
it
like
doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense now, but
it kind of does. Because of like variance in the timeline.
But it's also weird considering in the first Doctor Strange movie, the Ancient One says, "Where do you fit in this multiverse?" But like, it's not really even a thing yet.
It doesn't really fit anywhere.
Yeah, like it's just I hope with Doctor Strange 2, it clarifies what the multiverse actually is and how it functions. Because as of right now, it seems to function in the way. It's even weird in like actual Marvel comics, because in Marvel comics, like the time thing works the same way, where like you go back in time, you change something, but you still go back to your regular timeline. It just creates a branch reality. Yeah,
2099.
Like it's so like what's an alternate timeline and what's a different reality? What's the difference? Who cares what the difference is at that point?
Who gives a shit? It's just different.
We getting No Way Home news. God,
I honestly feel like they're not going to say anything until like July.
You see,
I feel like No Way Home doesn't even exist. It doesn't exist. Like it's just like
not real.
The suspense is killing me. I need to see
No Way
if fucking
Home is
Daredevil's
actually
in this movie or not.
Yeah, I was about to say No Way Home is
just
actually just a
marketing
Daredevil plug.
If Daredevil is
It's
in
just
the
Daredevil
movie,
the
Ty
movie.
is gonna fucking cry. He's gonna bawl. He's gonna get on his fucking knees and cry to God.
It'll be
He's
my
gonna-
Joker origin story.
No, he's
Gonna
going to
get
pull
on-
a J.
Tell you-
guys, yeah, I'll be like, guys, I'm sorry to tell you, but Ty, he unfortunately tried to commit. he heard the news about No Way Home and he couldn't handle it.
All right. We should probably wrap it up. It's been a while.
It's been 2 hours.
I'm getting
been about
fucking
2 hours.
hungry. I haven't eaten dinner yet.
Man, eat a dick.
Fuck you, Josh. You're literally black. I mean, what?
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 I think we should end the episode off on that. Just eat a dick. Cut.
All right.
Eat a
No
dick.
plug.
Oh, plugs?
You want to
Butt
plug your
plugs?
shit? You want to plug your shit?
I mean, does anybody have butt plug?
I mean, I've had mine in the whole time. I thought you guys were on the same page.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought.
Josh. Wait. Before we go,
Wait.
what are your thoughts on trans porn?
It's pretty cool. It's pretty
Okay.
legit.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty epic. It's pretty poggers.
Would you say
You're
too
okay.
legit to quit?
They're okay.
All right. Plug your shit. We'll start off with Ty.
Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Felicia the
Blah
Goat.
blah blah. Okay,
Call me
okay.
if you get lost. Streaming on
Yes.
Apple Music and Spotify right now.
Okay. Your turn, Bryce.
I'm at Omega. No, I'm Adam Sandler as Big Wheel. Oh. It still confuses me why I was blocked. I didn't say anything. If you're listening to this, fuck you. Anyway, I'm Adam Sandler as Big Wheel. Underscores between Adam and Sandler and as and Big
What did you just
Wheel.
say?
Nothing.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm Teriyaki Asian. That's been the podcast. Bye. See
Yeah,
you
what
later.
about me?
Bye. See you later.
No,
Watch out for episode 3.